What was his first mistake, if we think back? His first mistake was he was sleeping. He was sleeping. And Jesus knew that particularly Peter, if he had been awake, if he had seen what Jesus was going through, if he had seen the drops of blood that were coming through the skin of Jesus, maybe he would have woken up and said, this is the moment of crisis. After all, Jesus asked them to pray with him, but he slept. And Jesus went to him and said, Peter, sleepest thou? Can't you wake with me for one moment? So his very first problem was that he was asleep. They all fell asleep. But he had very specific ideas. And he could not incorporate the reality in his mind and join it up with these preconceived ideas. And then he pretended to be someone else. Now, don't we do the same thing? Don't we pretend to be just like all the other churches? Aren't we just another evangelical denomination? When we sit in ecumenical councils, do we say, we are different, we are disciples of Jesus Christ, we believe in the law and the testimony, and we believe in the implementation of the mark of the beast, and we would want to warn everyone against this? Or do we pretend, for the sake of the moment, to be just like everyone else, to be one of them? John sat one side. He didn't prepare himself or pretend to be someone else. And maybe we should do the same. We should not pretend to be what we are not. We have a very specific calling, and the moment of crisis has arisen.
The Seventh-day Adventist Church has been entrusted with precious truths: the Sabbath, the three angels' messages, the sanctuary, the state of the dead, and the soon return of Jesus Christ. Yet Scripture repeatedly warns that privileges come with greater responsibility. The church in Laodicea believed it was spiritually rich, but the greatest deception is believing we are spiritually healthy while ignoring our true condition.
Now, how do we apply this story to our time? We are living in very, very similar circumstances. A crisis is about to take place, and we have preconceived ideas. But we have a clear word, and we have a clear testimony. Brothers and sisters, is it possible that the voices that go up and tell us that this is not the crisis, it shall not be so unto thee, it will come in a different fashion, this is just a glitch on the horizon, that those voices could be very surprised one day? Isn't that a possibility? Is it possible that some of us will pretend to be what we are not? Is it possible that some of us will try to redirect us? I want to warn our people today. Don't listen to voices that try to channel the three angels' messages into other issues, such as the social justice issues of our time. Don't listen to those voices. We have very particular marching orders. We have to tell of a great time of crisis that is before God's people, and we will have to go through that time of crisis. So don't listen to those voices. Don't listen to voices that try to tell you that Jesus was an activist for social justice, because his kingdom was not of this world. We have to direct minds to another kingdom, to one that will be set up. Don't listen to voices that try to intimidate you by attaching labels to you, such as conspiracy theorist, far-right radical, or other catchphrases. or that preach, to anyone that preaches the three angels' messengers. Don't listen to them. Don't listen to voices that try to tell you that the pioneers of this church were uninformed and influenced by prejudiced thinking of the time. Don't listen to them. Don't listen to voices that try to tell you that Rome has changed or is not what the Reformers said it was, namely the Antichrist. Don't listen to voices that try to marginalize the spirit of prophecy as outdated 19th century delusions. Don't listen to them. They say that the events have not taken place. There is no Sunday law implementation. Of course not. It'll be the very final event that takes place. But if we do not see the shifting movements right now, we will be as surprised as were those disciples. Don't listen to voices that try to make the mark of the beast something other than what it is. Something that attacks the authority of God and which is embedded in the fourth commandment. Don't listen to those voices. Don't listen to voices that try to tell you that the gift of prophecy is not an identifying feature of the remnant church. And don't listen to voices that try to tell you to be inclusive and not separate. Don't try and pretend to be what you are not. Don't listen to anything that is not in harmony with the law and the testimony. Listen to what God said in His Word and through His prophet to the remnant. There lies our only safety. If the disciples had listened to the words of Jesus and had internalized them, they would not have been caught by surprise. If they had stayed awake and watched and looked at the signs around them, they would have known the hour. But they were asleep. We know why we are here. We know why we have a message to bear. And we have a message to bear, a very distinctive message. It is not a message of peace and safety. It is a message of a coming crisis that will come with an overwhelming surprise. Now is the time to hold fast our confidence and to believe what the Bible and the Spirit of prophecy has told us. May God fortify His people so that we may stand in the moment of crisis and, like John, say, I am a follower. I keep the commandments of God and I hold to the testimony of Jesus. And angels will be sent to protect those that believe and prepare them for the loud cry.
Is it possible to attend church every Sabbath and still miss what God desires most? The Bible teaches, examine yourselves, whether ye be in the faith. 2 Corinthians 13:5. Jesus warned, not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, shall enter the kingdom of heaven. Matthew 7:21. The final generation will not be identified merely by correct doctrine. Revelation describes God's faithful people as those who keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus. Truth and faith must always remain together, because when the final test comes, it will be too late to begin building a relationship with Christ. Bible prophecy reveals that God's people will face increasing pressure to choose between obedience to God and conformity to earthly powers. Preparation does not begin during the crisis. Preparation begins today. If this message has challenged or encouraged you, please like, subscribe, and share it with another believer. May God bless you, strengthen your faith, and keep you faithful until the glorious return of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
But the wicked shall do wickedly, and none of the wicked shall understand. But the wise shall understand.
Experts are urging South Australia to follow Victoria's lead and force its poultry industry into a lockdown. While H5 bird flu cases continue to soar, not everyone agrees a mandate is the answer.
Nick Demenz's hens enjoy roaming free.
Our birds are constantly outside, and that's the whole reason that people buy pasture-raised eggs.
That way of life becoming harder to protect. Dogs are on patrol, keeping wild birds at bay, but with H5 cases climbing, it may only be a matter of time before it hits his flock.
If it comes, it comes.
Victoria taking no chances, forcing producers in high-risk areas to lock down their flocks for 14 days. Forcing producers in high-risk areas to lock down their flocks for 14 days, with SA accounting for more than 3/4 of the nation's 215 cases. The question is, why aren't we doing the same?
I think we should be doing it as soon as possible. Now is the time for SA to start acting.
Warning the consequences of not acting could be devastating.
We require culling of all of the poultry flock, and then we start getting major issues with egg shortages.
For Nick, a mandatory lockdown isn't that simple. His farm wasn't built to house chickens indoors.
I'd love people to be able to make their own decisions based on their operations.
The government agrees that voluntary lockdowns are the best approach, at least for now.
We're doing what we are doing based upon the best available scientific evidence.
As the H5 virus spreads across the state, it's now being detected in more species too. An ibis at Windvale and a cormorant at Carpenter Rocks among 13 new suspected cases.
Very short period of time before we actually start getting poultry farms affected.
Good evening, everyone. Tasmania has recorded 7 more detections of H5 bird flu, bringing our total number of cases to 18. The additional ones were confirmed after rigorous testing of birds near Curry on King Island. That's near the heartbreaking site where 28 dead penguins were found just days ago. Reporter Ruby Cairns has been following the updates from the Department of Natural Resources and Environment. Ruby, do we know any more?
Michael, we do. There's another 23 penguins that have been found dead on King Island. That now brings the total number of deceased penguins to 51. The NRE's been pretty adamant that we can't confirm how they've died, whether that was from H5 bird flu or from another kind of illness. While we haven't got those test results, it has ramped up its operations in the King Island area just in case. The department's also not calling it a mass mortality, despite providing advice that it expects further detections across the north and west of the state. Federal Minister Rebecca White expressed her concern earlier today.
We are very worried that it might be bird flu, and we are seeing this on Tasmanian shores and mainland shores.
The general advice is that the risk to humans remains low. That's for H5 bird flu.
But the wicked shall do wickedly, and none of the wicked shall understand. But the wise shall understand.
South Australia's bird flu crisis has drastically worsened, with more than 1,000 new deaths uncovered and a grim warning there'll be more.
Let's go live to Gertie Sperling. Gertie, the mass deaths have been in remote locations, but there have also been new cases closer to home.
Rosanna, this is a rapid escalation of the bird flu crisis. 3 mass mortality events have been detected on remote islands located off York Peninsula and Kangaroo Island. Aerial surveillance teams say they've found more than 1,000 dead crested terns, and of particular concern, a little penguin from KI is also believed to be infected. The alarming discovery only increasing the threat to our poultry industry.
Nothing that we can do that guarantees that the poultry industry isn't affected. If that does occur, it will necessitate a pretty rapid response and the destruction of poultry at facilities where that has occurred. We stand ready to do that work That would be a harrowing task.
Here at North Haven, a greater crested tern has also tested positive, and there have also been cases in the Barossa and McLaren Vale confirming that the deadly virus is moving inland. Adelaide Zoo and Cleland are now working to have a vaccination program approved to protect their own birds, but rolling out a scheme for wild birds would be almost impossible to do so, according to authorities.
Well, now to the alarming development of the spread of bird flu in South Australia. Will Fulvio's here. Will, the first mammal in Australia has tested positive.
Yeah, it unfortunately has, Will, a long-nosed fur seal here in South Australia, and it's likely that this is just the start, with experts believing this is the same strain which wiped out 13,000 seal pups on Heard Island. The seal here was found dead by a member of the public on Wednesday at Beachport on the Limestone Coast. Now options are being weighed up on how to protect the species.
There's a lot of considerations to work through from both a science perspective as well as a regulatory perspective before we can get to the point of actually putting vaccines into sea lions.
We are working as closely as we can with the research that's happened around the world. I'll be working with the US, where there has been one trial undertaken.
A penguin on Kangaroo Island has also tested positive, and while vaccination plans are still being worked on here, tonight 1,000 penguins in Victoria's St Kilda and Phillip Island colonies will receive their first vaccination dose. So
the race to vaccinate Victoria's little penguins has become more urgent than ever as the nation's first case of bird flu in a mammal is now confirmed. A long-nosed fur seal was found dead at Beachport in South Australia. Tests confirming yesterday that it had contracted the deadly virus. It is a concerning development for our wildlife as the spread to our natural environment becomes harder to avoid.
SA's bird flu crisis has reached another grim milestone with the first confirmed case in a mammal. A fur seal has been found dead at Beachport in the southeast, promoting fears for larger colonies in places like Kangaroo Island.
It's decimated colonies abroad.
Overseas, we saw 95% of seal pups in South America be wiped out from bird flu.
Now it's found its way here.
This is sadly our first confirmed case of the H5 bird flu in a mammal in Australia.
We're the last place in the world to be going through this as a continent, and no one has found a vaccine,
The long-nosed fur seal was found dead with no signs of injury at Beachport on Wednesday.
We only have this one isolated case at this point in time, no evidence of mass mortalities in seals, but if I had to guess, I would guess we will get more cases.
With particular concern for the large seal populations on Kangaroo Island.
In Seal Bay, it won't take long for this to get into our endangered seals, and that can be absolutely devastating.
South Australians are encouraged to remain vigilant around sick wildlife, with the infected seal reported to a government hotline by a member of the public.
This week, National Cabinet will discuss these latest developments. I'll also be travelling to South Australia in coming days to discuss the state's ongoing response.
We've been through two ecological crises here in South Australia. Peter Malinauskas needs to be advocating to the federal government for a wildlife resilience fund.
A frightening new frontier in our bird flu fight. An infected native seal dead in South Australia.
This is sadly our first confirmed case of the H5 bird flu in a mammal in Australia.
The long-nosed fur seal was found on Wednesday at Beachport, around 300 kilometres south of Adelaide.
They live around our coastline in really close proximity to birds like crested terns and the other wild birds that we've seen this infection in, so they would be coming across, no doubt, really high levels of virus in their environment.
Wildlife experts say more casualties are inevitable.
Once the H5 bird flu is spreading in the natural environment, it is not possible to avoid significant losses.
This is the same strain we've seen in Heard Island, where we did see mass mortalities of seals.
There are 298 confirmed detections of bird flu across the country, the biggest concentration in South Australia, including one also confirmed today, a little penguin on Kangaroo Island.
As we know, birds do not know where borders are, where state borders start and finish. So that's why it really does need to be a national vaccination program.
Nations were angry, and thy wrath is come, and the time of the dead that they should be judged, and that thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants the prophets, and to the saints, and them that fear thy name, small and great. and shouldest destroy them which destroy the earth.
รูปแบบของความ